this is my favourite part of the week, where we get to look at the game coming up. And these are two sides who know each other fairly well. Rotherham have been a bit up and down in the Championship recently. Cardiff recently relegated, so both sides meet in League One for the first time in a long time, if ever, I should say. But in the early days of this year, or this season's campaign, Cardiff have played 2. They picked up a win and a draw. They remain unbeaten on 4 points. Rotherham have had a win and a loss with 3 points, so there's only a point separating them. It could be tight. Cardiff is slightly ahead, but of course Rotherham have a real live wire in Sam Nome. He is the front man to watch. 2 goals in 2 games already, lively, leading the line, and he is a guy who could cause all sorts of problems. They also have the likes of Dan Gore in midfield on loan from Manchester United, who is a phenomenal passer of football. He's a real tempo setter, and I think he's one for the future for sure. But he can do damage now. From a Cardiff point of view, Rolly Capacchio has been a massive part of Cardiff's build-up play. He's been really, really good in the attacking areas. And against Peterborough, he was excellent defensively. But as Port Vale showed, there's going to be games where he might struggle physically. But you cannot forget about Reuben Colwell. He scored 2 absolute worldy free kicks. One against Peterborough and one recently in the Carabao Cup. And but it's not just free kicks, it's the general ability and the way he's moving the ball, the way his movement, but most of all it's his pressing, the amount of sprints that he gets through, 15 to 25 yard sprints. The amount of those sprints in one game is quite phenomenal. The fitness, the strength that the lad's showing. If he's on form and he can find a bit of space, he is going to cause Rotherham all sorts of problems. When you look at how they can cause each other problems and you look at the tactical side of it, Cardiff's goal threat will most likely come from the likes of Reuben Colwell. Yusuf Salic could be massive for Cardiff this year if they deliver the ball like they did on Wednesday in the Carabao Cup, and not how they delivered the ball in against Port Vale. Against Port Vale, they worked a couple of decent positions through in both halves, and their delivery from the wide areas was absolutely appalling. Their set pieces were absolutely appalling. But against Swindon Town, it was exceptional. The corners, the free kicks, everything was on point, and it was whipped in with pace. And this could be a real weapon for Cardiff City this year. And I think, on the other hand of that, I think Rotherham might struggle with it. Of course, you've got the other side of it, your Reuben Colwells and people who could have that individual brilliance. But Cardiff, they like to move the opposition around from side to side, and then they switch the play to the winger, and both wingers will be chalk on their boots right on the touchline. And it's when they get into those wide positions, isolating the winger versus the fullback, they have to make sure the delivery is good. From a Rotherham point of view, look, they're going to sit in, and then they're going to try and hit Cardiff on the counter attack. They're going to try and get around the sides of Cardiff when the likes of Capacchio push up. Sam Nome and others will look to get in the channels, and I think it's a good weapon for Rotherham. I think they could really hit Cardiff on the transition, and it'll be Cardiff's 1-2 touch passing and then switch versus Rotherham's sit in, be compact, and then hit in the transition. Be a fascinating watch, I got to say. Cardiff's early season home form has been particularly good. They look much more settled at home. Their away form has not been great for the last 12 months, but their home form does look good. They look comfortable, and they seem to move the ball nicely. Rotherham, on the other hand, their away form, similar to Cardiff, has been awful for 12 months. They really need to correct that, and they'll be keen to do so. I think this game is going to be very nip and tuck, although I just feel that Cardiff might have a little bit too much quality with it. I think Rotherham are there to be hurt, and where they're there, or where they can be hurt, or where they are vulnerable, Cardiff are strong. I'm going to go 3-1 Cardiff, but Rotherham's raw pace on the break could be a real issue for Cardiff City, without doubt. that's your Dragon Sports preview. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you leave your score predictions below, and also let me know, does Brian Barry Murphy need to include any of the rotation stars who played on Wednesday? A couple of the squad players that got some minutes and did quite well, your David Turnbulls, and a couple of others. Would you like to see them get an opportunity, or do you think he should bring Joel Colwell back in? I'd love to hear your point of view. Drop it in the comments, hit a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Dragon Sports will give you all the Welsh news all the time. Thank you so much. Take it easy, and I'll see you after the game.